Everyone, my name is Thomas Sollie, and I'm a Swedish pathologist, a consultant histopathologist subspecializing in dermatopathology. I am very happy to be here. I'm sorry that I couldn't join you on site, that I have to join you remotely, but hopefully we'll get to meet some other time. My Proscia colleagues will be able to answer questions after this brief talk, and hopefully you'll have a nice time and you will find this interesting. So I've been working exclusively digitally for 4 years now, and I haven't touched a microscope during these 4 years. Before that, I was partially working digitally. So for about 7 years now, I've been working on screen with my reporting. The last 4 years, I've also been working within the field of AI in pathology. I've been scouting the market for different AI solutions, evaluating them, and also implemented them into routine practice. And that's why I'm here today to talk to you about the DermAI solution from Proscia. As we all know, there's a lack of pathologists in the world, basically. And if we have a look at this heat map, I would say that you are quite well off if you are living in a dark green country. But the more you move towards the red, and especially the dark red countries, the worse off you are. This is, sorry to say, not going to change in a rapid fashion, since the average age of pathologists is quite high, and people are retiring quicker than junior doctors are becoming residents, and so this heat map is here to stay for some time. And I would say that at least part of the solution to keep giving a good care for the patients in need of pathology report would be to have a cooperation or collaboration between man and technology. And I'm therefore going to continue to tell you about the learnings that we've had from a test evaluation of DermAI in a large commercial reference lab setting. So what is DermAI? DermAI, in short, is a workflow solution designed to drive efficiency in the routine practice of dermatopathology. If we take a closer look, DermAI is a workflow solution that categorizes images of H&E stained derm specimens into clinically relevant classes. And I will get back to the different classes in a little while. So if DermAI is deployed on the CE-IVD-R marked concentric DX image management system, it will enable a first read or a post-review case sorting, triaging, and prioritization. It highlights the promise of AI to deliver value in routine practice by ensuring that cases are routed to the right pathologist with the right level of knowledge, also helping pathologists to prioritize their work lists, and lastly, providing a safety net, AI-based second read on every case for extra confidence. You could say that dermatopathology is like the holy grail of pathology when it comes to developing AI solutions, since it is so high in volume, accounting for on average 25 to 30% of the case volume in an ordinary lab. being a dermatopathologist is also highly repetitive. You cover about 10 diagnostic outcomes, accounting for 66% of all your cases. Also, melanomas are difficult to read, and between also subspecialized dermatopathologists, there is a low concordance, and the rates vary between 30 and 65%. The distribution of cases is poorly optimized between generalists and subspecialists as well. So these are 4 areas with problem that we potentially can gain from an AI algorithm. So the DermAI is built with data from leading labs globally. It was trained and validated on 50,000 whole slide images, which means that it is robustly tested for scanner and stain variability across global sites. And as you can see within the white box, these are the scanner brands that have been used to create these 50,000 slides big test set. What I would like to tell you a little bit more about is this case study of DermAI performance on real-world data. We had to create a very small calibration data set of only 198 whole slide images. The ground truth was confirmed, and representative whole slide images 1 to 2 were chosen by a subspecialized dermatopathologist from a total of 195 specimens. An equal number of specimens from every supported DermAI category was used for creating this calibration set, namely 33 melanocytic cases of high risk and 33 melanocytic cases of low risk, etc., etc. So further test data, we had a subspecialized dermatopathologist review an additional 1,500 specimens, of which whole slide images were included to create a test set with 1,695 whole slide images. And speaking about the different categories or subclasses of the Proscia DermAI algorithm, you can see them on side of the image here. So there is squamous and basaloid, melanocytic, which is further subdivided into melanocytic low risk, or melanocytic suspect or intermediate risk, and melanocytic high risk. And then there is the category of other lesions and other findings. Within the category of melanocytic high risk, we find invasive melanomas, melanomas in situ, and also high-grade dysplastic nevi. Within the melanocytic suspect, we find low-grade dysplastic nevi, and within the low-risk melanocytic category, we find mostly benign nevi. So at a quick glance, the DermAI performance, the key benefits observed from DermAI at this lab, 4 boxes with the reduction of 30 to 35% on average turnaround time in melanoma, moving on to 100% of melanoma cases that go directly to dermatopathologists, which also means on the other end of the spectrum, a 40% increase in the easy cases to general pathologists. We also saw a reduction of about 35 to 40% reduction in number of cases that get into a second review, and 80% of melanoma cases are detected by reviewing only approximately 16% of the cases. If we move into accuracy, you can, with these two diagrams, see that DermAI is highly accurate in identifying high risk and intermediate risk melanoma cases. If you look into the box of high risk cases, you can see that 94.5% of all high risk melanoma cases are classified as high risk or suspect by DermAI, and if we move into the intermediate risk box, you can see that 92.7% of all intermediate risk melanoma cases are classified as high risk or suspect by DermAI. DermAI is also highly specific for other indications, as shown below. Other categories that I mentioned before were the squamous category containing squamous cell carcinoma and the basaloid containing basal cell carcinoma. As you can see, the squamous category has a specificity for 92% using DermAI, and the basaloid 98%. And if we move up to the melanocytic low risk, we have 99% specificity. This is, of course, many nice and bright colors, but what is shown here is the DermAI performance that we have labs both in specificity and regardless of lab, and we then need to take into consideration that each lab has its own stage site, etc., etc. So is DermAI useful in identifying melanoma? Yes, to that. While in 10% of income, if you demonstrate, you can. So all specimens of DermAI cases in the descending order of the melanoma confidence score, we can identify that 80% of melanoma cases detected by reviewing only 1% of the cases. Usually reviewed for most other laboratories. And this particular data set from this commercial lab, when we tested DermAI against a sequential set of cases, we expect this performance to be even better, as evidences in other laboratories. Secondly, once these high-risk cases are identified, they are reassigned to a subspecialized dermatopathologist, and we here have 6 nicely colored boxes where we can, for the top blue ones, see that with the aid of DermAI, the high-risk melanoma and intermediate risk melanoma cases can efficiently be reassigned to or assigned to subspecialized dermatopathologists without the use of DermAI. We have about 25% of the cases being assigned to subspecialized dermatopathologists, and that changes to 100% with the use of DermAI. And in addition to that, and as a logical consequence, you get other types of cases as squamous cell carcinoma and basal cell carcinomas assigned to the non-subspecialized pathologists, or that are non-subspecialized in dermatopathology. And more importantly, at this lab where this was conducted, DermAI was proven to result in an estimated TAT reduction of about 30 to 35%. And if we, as a baseline turnaround time, use the average melanoma turnaround time without the clinical flagging, we can see by the use of clinical flagging a 15% reduction in turnaround time. But if we move on to the average melanoma turnaround time with the use of DermAI and without the clinical flagging, we see a 45% reduction in turnaround time of the case. This means overall about 30% potential reduction in turnaround time in most workflows measured until this date. The percentage of malignant melanoma cases that get flagged by the clinicians is 26%, and the percentage of malignant melanoma cases that get flagged by DermAI is 92%, which is of course significantly higher. So DermAI as a triaging tool is likely to be about 5 times more effective than clinical flagging. Moving on to the workflow impact of DermAI, the estimated caseload distribution and changes by class post DermAI for this laboratory. You can see that the DermAI triage gives about 42% of the caseload assigned, and we can follow the red and blue bars to see that the basal cell carcinomas and the squamous cell carcinomas, together with the low risk melanocytic lesions, decreases with the use of DermAI to the subspecialized dermatopathologists, and it increases to the general pathologists with the use of AI or DermAI. So to summarize, we could say that the key takeaways would be: 1, DermAI calibration burden is minimal and easy to accomplish. 2, DermAI performance is well tested against multiple labs, scanners, and variations in staining protocols, etc. Performance is fairly standard across variations. 3, 80% of melanoma cases detected by reviewing only about 16% of the cases. 4, estimated 35 to 40% reduction in cases that are being reviewed twice, first by a generalist pathologist and then by a subspecialized dermatopathologist. Estimated 30 to 35 potential reduction in turnaround time when DermAI is used in combination with clinical flagging. And lastly, DermAI as triaging tool is likely to be 5 times more efficient and effective than clinical flagging. Thank you very much to all of you for listening in on this talk on DermAI. As I said before, very sorry that I couldn't attend in person, but please feel free to approach any of my colleagues with further questions. Thank you. Take care.